This is the K-91, a Tier 9 Soviet premium heavy tank with a 3-shell autoloading gun. In today's video, I'll be breaking into the tank's stats, playing one live game in it, as well as sharing a 7,000 damage replay I got in this tank yesterday. In terms of its gun, it deals 350 average damage on its standard shell, 300 on the premium, and 420 on the HE. Its average pen is pretty good at 260 on the standard, 341 on its premium, and 55 with the HE. Its gun is also pretty accurate. It has .326 dispersion with an aim time of 3.7 seconds, so for a Russian Tier 9 heavy, that's actually pretty solid. What is also pretty solid is its gun depression of 7 degrees. You are going to be able to work most ridgelines with this tank, which is also pretty strange for a Russian heavy. Again, I'm going to say this a lot, but there's a lot of strange characteristics about this tank that most other Russian heavies don't carry. In terms of its mobility, it goes 40 forward and 15 in reverse, which is really nice. You're going to be able to get into your frontline position quite quickly. Although its power to weight of 15.7 means getting up to that top speed is going to take a decent amount of time. In terms of the armor, the K-91 actually is really good armor. Its lower plate is really the main weak spot, and you're going to be getting penned by pretty much everything with standard shells on the lower plate. Its turret, though, is really solid, and unless you're up against tier 10s with high pen heat or premium shells, you're not really going to have to worry too much about it because it doesn't really have hatches. It just has like corner cutouts that can get penned by, again, tier 10s with high premium pen. In terms of its side armor, it's really good, and you can actually use this tank in side scraping positions really effectively, which I'm hopefully going to be able to showcase for you in this game. So, we are on Fort Despair, which is a pretty solid map for this tank, depending on where our team goes. If our team does go, like, medium side, then I'll just go to the mid, and if our team does go C side, then I'll just follow them, because I can probably side scrape there. And we're also up against tier 8s, which is really good for this tank, because against tier 8s, this thing is really strong. So our team seems to be splitting. I'm actually going to see, hopefully these guys follow me towards the right, because if they do, then I'll be able to hold this angle pretty effectively. The K-91 is usually available for gold. Now, what I recommend buying this thing for the amount of gold, I believe it usually comes out for, what, 17,000 gold? I would say it's actually pretty worth it. The tank is pretty fun. It has a unique playstyle because of the autoloader, and it can perform really well in most games. So we can see against us, we have the AT and the Tiger kind of sitting in the back, and I am spotted, so I'm going to assume that they have another tank sitting in their TD bush, unless I got spotted by that Cobra, which is also a possibility. There's the Tiger. We're going to get a nice shell into the Tiger's rear. We're going to aim in and get another shell into the Tiger's rear. Hopefully the Conway just shoots. Right now he's kind of just staring at him. Good job, Conway. And we're going to get our third shell in. So we've already dealt 1,069 damage with our shells. And to be fair, we've even low rolled a couple of them, so we could have dealt more damage. But overall, a good start to this game. And the full reload of this tank is pretty solid, so we're already almost able to get our 3 shells back. We're going to get 1 into the AT, and there is the T-95 there, who I am going to try and get a blind shot into. I'm not sure if that penned, and I also don't know why he hasn't shot anything yet. There we go. He tries to HE that guy, but fails miserably. So I'm going to go for this type here. We get our final shell into him, and I'm just going to back up into cover. Basically, the playstyle of this tank is you want to clip and then get back into cover. You don't want to be exposing your tank when you're on a reload to mediums or any tank with more DPM than you, because you're basically useless when you're on your clip reload. When you do have your clip, though, your tank is very deadly, and again, you can do a lot of damage to most of your opponents. Even to tier 10s, this thing is pretty deadly, and its armor does actually hold up against tier 10s as well. I'm kind of worried about this T-95. He's just sort of sitting there and not really allowing me to get many shells into these guys. So I'm actually going to try and side scrape against him. He does pen me for a lot of damage, though. 725 is not very nice. I am going to shoot the type once, though, and then I will just reload my shells again. We're already at 2,300 damage, which is pretty good. I'm hopefully going to let this Conway take that shot from the T-95. Thank you. And then I'm going to push on this type, get 1 shell into his turret, 2 shells into his turret, and he gets finished off. I don't know what he was doing. And then I'm going to get 1 shell into the lower plate of the T-95. We're already at 3,400 damage, which is pretty crazy, and this tank just pumps out damage because of the clip it has. Especially with its DPM of, like, it almost has 2,800 DPM, which is really nice for a autoloader, especially tier 9. So yeah, you're just able to pump out the damage, and we're just like that, we're at 4K already. I'm not sure if we're going to get any more out this game. I'm just going to reload my clip because there's no point in just keeping one shell in my gun when I could just reload and get 3, since especially this last guy hasn't been spotted yet. I have no idea where this guy is, I'm going to be honest. I'm hoping that he's... I don't even know. Is he AFK? Damn it. Kind of was hoping that we would get some damage in, but apparently he's AFK with his gun in the air. That's crazy. So I guess he just gave up. Hopefully we can at least get 1 shell into him. Nice. We get 1 into his turret. And... oh, that one missed. That's unfortunate. Still a really solid game in the K-91. And honestly, this tank is pretty reliable. You're going to be able to do like over 3K in this tank most games, especially if the games last enough to where you can get your full potential out with dealing multiple clips. So yeah, anyways, we dealt 4,300 damage in our game, came top on the team. This was a tier 8 game, so obviously it was going to be a bit easier than against tier 10s, but still a pretty solid result. Now, instead of doing a second live game, as I said before, we're going to be breaking into the 7,000 damage game I was able to pull out in this tank yesterday. This game was on Mayan Ruins, and up against us we have some tier 8 tanks like the RHM and T-28 Proto, who can actually deal a lot of damage to us and can be quite deadly against our tank. They also have the BZ-68, which is a pretty good tier 9, as well as the Conqueror, which I would say is one of the strongest tier 9 heavies right now. So my plan in this game is to go medium side / mid. I would say that's the strongest position to take on this map, and especially in a tank like the K-91 with 7 degrees of gun depression, you're able to really work these positions well. So I just communicate with the team. I really want the whole team to go here, because if it's just me going here, then it's kind of pointless, as I can only hold so much. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take over this bridge. I want to spot out their medium sign, and oh look, a T-69. We get 1 shell into him. We try and angle our tank, but he does actually hit our lower plate, which is pretty exposed right now, so that's kind of unfortunate. But we do actually get a full clip into him, which brings him down to 400 health already. You can see where this gun is quite insane, especially against tier 8 tanks. Bringing full HP tanks like that just down to like basically 2-shot is pretty insane. Now we're shooting at the Waffle, but unfortunately he is running Spall, so that's a bit sad, but we still do clear him and deal a decent amount of damage to him. Now the Progetto, we get a nice 432 roll into his ass with HE, bringing him down to 700 health, and hopefully our type is going to shoot him once. No, he doesn't, but we still get a nice 400 damage ram. This tank is actually fairly solid at ramming because of how heavy it is, and you can see that there, especially against medium tanks like the Progetto. Progetto gets finished off, and so far this game is looking pretty good. We still have an Emil, we still have a full health ISU, and we have a full health Waffle with us. So what I'm going to do is try and take back this bridge spot, because their heavies are all kind of oblivious and they're all sitting in mid. So I'm really hoping that they just sort of sit there and let me farm their sides. So we're going to try and get a shot into the Conqueror, get a nice max roll for 438. I'm going to try and get one more in. Unfortunately, I don't know, that was just a bad shot for me. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, we do get a really nice shot into him and actually set him on fire for 526. So that makes up for the miss, I guess. We're already at 3,600 damage, and the only unfortunate part is we're starting to lose our teammates. We have a... What is that actually? An AMX on the side who is flanking and doing weird stuff. I don't really know what he's doing. And then we have our Waffle, who's getting pushed by the BZ, which is also not very good. So we're just going to dump our shells into the Conqueror, and again, I'm just going to hold this bridge as long as I can, because it's a really strong position, especially since all their heavies are actually still here, like the Carnarvon, which we just clear there, and get a nice clear shot into the Conqueror as well. They only have 2 tanks left, but our Waffle unfortunately dies. And so that means it's just me and this AC left, who's not the best player, I will say. I don't know what he's doing, but he's flanking the bridge. So, right now what I'm going to try and do is pen the T-28 Proto a couple of times. Hopefully, I'm able to finish him off with HE. Unfortunately, the shell hits his mantlet and does 0 damage. So I'm just going to reload my whole clip. There's no point in keeping the last shell in there when I won't be able to use it. Our AC is still just driving around on the bridge. I still don't know what he's trying to do. I really wish that he would be flanking right now. Luckily, he actually does get a nice clear into that guy. So, I mean, I can only say so many bad things about him. I did try and track the BZ there. It would have been nice because that would have saved me 500 health. But unfortunately, he does get that pen into me. Again, I shoot 2 shells and I'm just getting the full clip reload. As I said before, there's no point in really keeping your shell, like 1 shell in your magazine if you're not going to be able to use it. It's better to just reload your full clip and just go from there. Now I do try side scraping here. Unfortunately, he does get a nice pen. I think I over-angled my side, and he does get a nice pen into my tank. So now I'm at 97 health, which is really not great because I do not trust this AMX at all. And neither does our team. Look at that waffle. But anyways, I'm going to get one unfortunate bounce. I was really hoping that would pen, but I do get an unfortunate bounce on the BZ's upper plate when it kind of looked like it should have been a pen. I don't know. It was pretty gray there. But at this point, I'm just going to try and flank to a safer position because the last thing I want is to get HE'd in the turret, which this BZ could actually probably kill me if he just shoots HE at me. Especially since I've done 6,000 damage, I don't want to ruin this good game. I get a really, really nice shot into his turret. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how that one penned, but that brings us to 6,300 damage. At this point, I'm going to try and use this rock and see if I can blind shot his tank at all, because at this point, that's my only hope of penning him. I'm really just trying to bring him down to a one-shot, because again, I'm looking around and I don't know where our AMX is. He's kind of just sitting behind me. It would have been nice if he had pushed up and kind of kept that guy spotted, but oh well, anyways. What I'm gonna do next is push up to this mid spot. Basically what I want to do at this point is try and spot the BZ while he's rotating out. What I think he's trying to do is I think he's trying to rotate to heavy side, but it turns out he actually isn't. So I get up to this position here and I'm like, oh my gosh, there he is. So I really need this AMX to come up here and help me now. Because I can't take another shot, and I'm really worried that this guy knows how to HE. So I'm just going to hold here and wait for the AMX. Now this guy actually does start pushing me, and he gets a pretty nice shot into my lower plate. But the AMX is able to finish him off, which leaves us with 7,000 damage. A pretty solid game, I would say. I made a couple of mistakes there and bled a bit too much HP, especially at the end when I over-angled my side and let the BZ pen me. But again, 7,096 damage, almost 7.1k, and this tank is really solid, and oh, this team did not do very well. This is actually the first time I'm seeing this, this team's result. So yeah, anyways, that's the K-91 for you. If you do have the opportunity to pick this tank up, I do recommend this tank for anyone, really. It's, I would say it's a pretty, like, new player-friendly tank. Simply because its hull armor is pretty strong other than the lower plate. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.